If you have applied to hundreds of jobs and have heard nothing back, that does not mean that you are underqualified. Right now, you are in one of the toughest job markets that we've seen in years. Just in January, there were over 130,000 jobs added. January of this year. Right after that, there were over 100,000 jobs lost. What that means is basically all those jobs that were added ended up getting taken away. Look at the unemployment rate. For those who have not served, we're sitting around 4.1%. For those who have served, you're sitting at a 5.8%. Then for those who have served who have a disability, you're sitting at a whole additional point at a 6.8%. That is almost 7% unemployed. I talked about before when filling out job applications, something with disabled veterans. So when you say, okay, I'm a veteran, you check that block. What comes up next, guys, is a page that'll say, do you have any of these disabilities? And at the bottom, your options are to check, yes, I have or have had a disability in the past. And they even want you to actually check one of the blocks to tell them what your disability is. But they say it's voluntary, but you can't get paid. You can't get past that screen. Next, you can check no. But if you check no, technically, you're lying. Or you can check I don't want to answer. Now, if you check no, or even if you pick that you don't want to answer, either way it goes, you're kind of in a bad situation as a veteran because you have now entered that 5.8% unemployment rate. Now you dropped the point, but you're still much higher comparable to the civilian market. Now, a while back, I remember, if you guys think back, security clearance used to be that thing. It's like, okay, wow, I have a security clearance. You're standing out, above the crowd. You go on that site, yes, I'm going to apply for this job here with a security clearance. My chances on getting hired now, it's much higher. That is no longer the case because now the process for security clearance, those contracting roles have slowed down quite a bit. I mean, a lot. I was actually working with someone prior to the situation that happened in Northern Virginia, and he still keeps in contact with me, actually. He reached out to me this week and he said, hey, I just want to let you know we are still in negotiation with the government. He said, the contract is good. The problem is the salary. So they're in contract negotiation with salary. And I've seen a couple of other roles where the salary was, it was low. And now what they're doing is like, well, here's a competitive package where you can get up to a certain amount. So they've reduced the amount and now trying to make things as a package to make it, look better. But I mean, low pay is low pay, especially if you're talking about somewhere like DC, for example. Now, to add to that, with the security clearance, a lot of veterans are now not even able to have that security clearance. Part of that security clearance process is paying bills. And when people don't have jobs, how can they afford to pay their bills? So now you're looking into that and a whole new thing for security clearance for veterans. So either way it goes, this thing is rough out here. So if you're someone that's like, you know what, how come I'm not getting employed? Is it my age? Maybe I'm just too old because all this new stuff that came about with this technology is just too much for me. I can't compete. Or maybe I'm just not qualified because maybe I need to go and get more certifications, or maybe I need to go to college to get, a degree. So don't think like this, because it's literally the market. I'm telling you, it's the market. And you're talking about with all these layoffs, of course, came AI as well. Now, AI, of course, it streamlines processes, right? Does it seamlessly. Gotta love it. But at what cost? This thing came at like the perfect time with all these job layoffs. And so it's now like, hey, AI is the cause of me losing my job. And that takes away from what actually is going on. It's more on the lines of the market. But it's easy to just shift the blame on AI, because that way you don't have to point the finger at an actual person for being responsible for this, if you know what I mean. Because the thing about it, you can point the blame all day on AI, but guess what? Artificial intelligence is not a person. So who's really to blame here? So those are some things that, you guys have to really think about and consider. Now, there are some rules, I would say, some positions out there that, okay, they're safer, than all these things that are happening. So healthcare, I would say it's much safer route. You're always going to need your doctors and your nurses and someone to process those insurance claims. But at the same time, a lot of people are now taking back control of their health. A lot of people are like, you know what, hey, I went overseas and I go walking every single day. They're like, hey, you don't do this back home in the States. Something about it makes you walk. They're like, hey, all these things, these red dye and everything else that was in these foods, we don't have that over here. So I'm losing weight. I'm getting much healthier. I'm like, hey, the hospitals, the doctors cost way less for a visit over here. So at the same time, hey, that might be affected, sometime too. Certain trades, I would even say. I would say something like HVAC, or electrician. But then again, you have AI, so something goes out with the HVAC system, people can literally look online and figure things out now. Especially if, okay, let's say something's going on, your AC is not working. You go outside and you're like, wait, it's making a humming sound. People can at that point kind of, you know, look at the process of elimination, because it may be something like a capacitor. And if it's a capacitor, that's something that you can actually do yourself, because an HVAC company, they're going to charge you a couple $100, maybe $300-400 for a capacitor, when that piece is going to cost you about 30 something dollars and take you, even first time trying, I mean, it's not going to take you long to do, even for mechanics is another one, right? I think now people are figuring out, you know what, I can figure this thing out on my own. These companies are out here charging like $300-400 just for front brake pads. I mean, how long does it take to do front brake pads? And you can get those for $60, and literally do those. I mean, first time you can do that easy DIY. You can do that in maybe an hour and a half, So there's so many things that people are now figuring out for themselves. So either way you look at it, things are going to get cut. So basically, guys, I don't want anyone to think that it's you, because I'm not going to think it's me. On my latest video, I got a lot of positive feedback when I was like, you know what, I'm down, I'm tired of this. I got so much feedback like, hey, you know what it is we're going to be back on top one day. It's the economy. Hey, don't give up, keep pushing. It was so much motivation. Hey, you've accomplished a lot, you got this and that, don't let people break you. I mean, it was nonstop inspiration and motivation from a lot of you guys out there, and which I definitely greatly appreciate. And that's why, you know, I take the time to respond to everybody, and sometimes even utilize the talk to text feature that YouTube rolled out recently. So basically, you know, you gotta do what you gotta do out here to survive. I hope everybody can push as much as they can, you know, as rough as it is out here, because that's all we can do at this point. So again, thanks for all the motivation for everybody out there, and I just want to let everybody know to keep your head up, because it's literally the economy. The economy sucks.